Hello everyone and welcome back to the BoP test. They're finally back on the channel. As you can see, we're in the BMW M6 GT3 car. But before we get on to this car, I just want to explain where they've been, why they've been missing. Of course, I went to Germany for the live event at the Nürburgring 24 hour. Of course, this car has raced there at the Nürburgring 24 hour. It's a real world car. And of course, there was a new tyre model there, which I've explained in another video. You'll hear that in the manufacturer's analysis, which was due the other day, but I need to edit it down because it's a bit long. It's an hour. So I'll edit that down a little bit. But even so, I was waiting for the tyre model to come in. Now, they said mid-June. Mid-June's passed. We're in the third week of June. So I thought, okay, let's do the BoP test. I've done the BoP test and then, like, literally, ironically, did the BoP test, then the announcement that there's going to be an update tomorrow, which I assume is going to be the new tyre model for the season in GT Sport. So we've got a plan for all the BoP tests. So I want to do the remaining car profiles, and then we'll see what the tyre model does, the new tyre model, because it does change times. I expect it to change times. We'll test a few cars, see what's happened. If it hasn't changed, that's fine. If it has, we're still going to do the remaining profiles, because the car, the driving the car should be the same. It's just a little bit harder on exit of corners. However, let's get on to this car now, which is the BMW M6 GT3 car, turbocharged, it's front engined and rear wheel drive. It's a bit of a handful of as you expect. Obviously, it's got a lot of power. This thing is a bit of a beast, and especially on the torque, when you put the power down, the wheels start spinning, the car gets a little bit unbalanced, goes a bit insane. So let's have a look at the 4 tracks that we usually do. So we do 4 tracks, we do Brands Hatch, we do Dragon Trail, we do Interlagos, and we do Suzuka. We'll do more eventually, but these are the 4 tracks we're doing. Brands Hatch to test undulations, curbs. It's a very fast flowing track. How does it handle itself? As you see, we were behind the Ghost initially on Paddock Hill Bend. Did struggle at Druids on the exits. The one thing with this car is when you are low down in the gears, that when the turbo kicks in, the rear just wants to fly around. The car constantly wants to spin. But however, if you're in the higher end of the revs, so here as well, coming out this corner, you'll see the car's a bit all over the place. If you're in the high end of the gears, so top end of second, top end of third, top end of fourth, the car doesn't want to spin because obviously the turbo's at its lowest. We're basing the power and the torque more off the engine rather than the turbo kicking in. So that's the way to drive the car. If you want to get around the corners safely, make sure you're at the top end of the gears. So I struggled a little bit on that corner initially. Finally got used to it as we come towards the end of the lap at Brands Hatch already. As you see on the right hand side, our times were a bit varied. That was because of accidents. So you can see a 2-minute lap in there, a 1:39, a couple of 30s in there. We should be in the 20s. And as you can see, our potential is a 1:22.2, and we are looking for our potential, our optimal lap. Because of course, it's very hard to do a 1 in 10 lap or 1 in 15 lap because we do a maximum of 15 laps. And get the fastest lap, whereas your optimum 1 in 15 in each sector is much easier to do, even if you're crashing on a lap. So you can see there we get a 1:22.125 optimum, which is fairly quick, and you know, it's really far up there, to be honest, in terms of lap times at Brands Hatch. So we go to Dragon Trail. Obviously this is setting speed, the stability on bumps and curbs and things like that. This car likes curbs, to be honest. I felt I could abuse curbs quite a lot in this car, which was really nice. And I think the softer suspension, so it's got a really soft suspension I've found. So as the curbs, it kind of liked. However, bumps on the circuit at high speed, it really doesn't like. It's a bit interesting in that sense. So you do have to be careful. So we get a 32.607, a very quick first sector there. There's not much that beats it in the first sector. There's only a couple of cars as we continue on. And potentially it should go even faster. We have had a bit of a break from Gran Turismo. You know, 4 weeks basically in a nutshell, so expect the fastest times to be different to the optimum, but the optimum is still there. As you can see down at the bottom right, 136.6. There's a bit of issue with understeer in that fast section. Leaving this corner, we are going to struggle, as I say, with stability of the car. We nail it there that time, but a lot of the time I did struggle with the rear wanting to come out, so you got to be careful there. The chicane actually likes the chicane. A little lift here and there, all good in this car, so I nailed the chicane quite a lot. Flatted it once as well in this car, which is unusual because it does have understeer. Being a front engine car, obviously a lot of the weight over the front, it just wants to understeer a little bit. Exiting this corner again, very treacherous. You can see there I'm battling the wheel, trying to get the car straight. As I say, second, third gear, very, very sketchy, especially if you're low down in the gears as well. So as you see, we get 136.6 optimum, which is a pretty good time, to be honest. Again, way up there and very expected with this car as we head to Interlagos now. Testing undulations here, curb abuse again. Obviously, it's a bit more technical in the middle sector as well, as we come down through this corner. We do quite well on this corner most times. As you see, we just ran a little bit wide there. Notice how the car got unstable with the Ghost. Not with this car, but it just gives me that little bit of time, so I'm going to catch up here. Our optimum at the moment at 130.8, so not the quickest, but not the slowest either. As we come into this corner, again, you've got to be really aggressive with this car. And notice, look at the rear again, coming out. You'll find this constantly. It's quite a tricky car to drive, but when you get the hang of it, it's quite easy to then drive once you know the car. As we come into this corner, the rear constantly wanted to step out here, really wanted to step out, so you see him be adjusting the throttle all the time as we come into this right hander. All very well and good, and then the left again. Got to be very careful on exit because we're at the sort of the bottom end of second. The rear just wants to twitch, so I straightened the car out straight away there just to make sure we didn't have any micro weight transitions happening with the car. Exiting here, this corner, I was absolutely treacherous in this corner. Half throttle, 3/4 throttle all the time. It was very, very sketchy as we come into here. As we exit, we do that okay. On another lap, we absolutely nailed that corner. It was absolutely unbelievable lap. But even so, we continue on. Our optimum has gone down a little bit to 130.818. We'll see what it is at the end. Of course, we expect it to do well at this point, powering up the hill. As we head towards the line, we get a 130.941 there, but our optimum goes down to a 130.783 because we do go faster in the first sector on the very next lap. So 0.7, not too bad. Could have been quicker, but even so, we are there. As we continue on now to Suzuka, and Suzuka trail braking, not too bad. Initially, I get a bit of understeer, but then it comes back to me as we continue on round. As we then head through the S's. Now, the car really likes the S's, believe it or not. I was quite surprised here, because on my very first lap, I was matching the very best cars, 32 9s, 33 0s. The car really likes it. Obviously, this lap's not the greatest, so obviously you're expecting it to get better later on, but even so, a 33.1 is still a very good time. Does understeer a lot on that corner. Do be careful there at Suzuka. The car does suffer with understeer. Obviously, the quicker you go, the more it'll understeer basically. As we continue on. Tidgney 2, very treacherous in this car. You have got to be so careful. I've never spanned so much at Tidgney 2 in my life as I have in this car. It is absolutely nutty, to be honest with you. So yeah, very, very, very bizarre. So continuing out of that corner, hairpin, staying second gear, all very well and good as we continue on. So we're doing fairly okay at this point. We've got 158.7, about half a second from the leading Porsche, I think it is here. Coming to Spoon, no issues here, but drop it down to second. You've got to be careful on exits here. So this is where the car loses out quite a lot. Can't put the power down straight away. You just see the rear come out slightly there as we continue on up the hill and head towards the 130R. I lost myself there. So the speed trap here, we only get a 155, and that's because of the exit at Spoon. We can't put the power down straight away, otherwise it would be well up there as we head towards the chicane. Now I know we cut this a little bit more than you can probably in the official races, but it's only a tiny bit more. We've done the same with all the other cars, so it's all fine as we head towards the line. What do we get? We get a 158.907 down to a 158.643, which is pretty damn good, to be fair, in this car. And I think there was a bit more time in sector 3, to be honest with you. I reckon you could have got another 10th off that, but it was getting late, and obviously we've only just got back into GT, so potentially it was there. So here we have the results of the BoP test, and as you can see, the BMW M6 has done fairly well. I think it's 1.2 in the patch. Wasn't sure 1.19 or 1.2. I'll make sure what it is based on the update tomorrow, because that should be a brand new patch number. But even so, you can see the BMW has come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th place there. Potentially, I think it probably might be slightly ahead of the AMG, to be honest with you. Maybe heading towards the Lamborghini. As I say, I think there was another 10th at Suzuka. But even so, you can see that there, all the usual statistics: 96% power, 102% weight. So obviously it has had to be nerfed a little bit there. Risk indicator of 6, as I say, initially, lower end gears, very tricky. I span a lot of Tidgney 2. Some corners, it is so treacherous, it's unbelievable. But other corners, it's settled, it's fine, and you can drive the pants off the car. It's unbelievable. So, you know, the notes are there as per usual. So the car seems to have significant issues with bumps, which it does. You know, Interlagos, that left-hander, really struggles. But curbs, it's fine. It's very odd. So I think it is a soft suspension issue, but then something else perhaps in there as well. I'm not really big on the setups, so maybe someone else can enlighten me on that. I'd say be very careful of low rev acceleration, turbo coming in, lots of just torque and power suddenly coming in the car, spins the wheels up, so issues there potentially exiting corners, and I did experience that as well, and you saw that. And it's best to be at the top end of the res in terms of stability. Definitely not a beginner's car this, so do keep that in mind. So that's been the BMW M6 GT3 car in this BoP test. What is next on this list? Let's have a look down here. Ford Mustang, potentially. Obviously depends on the tyre model as well, as to whether it's straight away in terms of videos, or whether it's in a couple of days or something like that. As I say, new tyre model coming in, potentially this is changed, but I have a plan. So if there's no new tyre model, this just goes on as normal. And then we will also update it based on previous BoP updates that have happened in GT. If the new tyre model comes in, there's a plan in place. We continue on with the BoP test. We'll do car profiles, and then the videos will change slightly, but you will still get the BoP test results, and the spreadsheet will be updated. So don't panic and don't worry. So that's the end of this BoP test. Hope you enjoyed that video. A bit longer than usual, but I had to do a bit of explaining in there as well. My logo's there if you want to subscribe. The video playlist of all the car profiles previously, if you want to check out a car there already. As you can see, we've done a lot of them now. But that's it for now. Thanks very much for watching. I will see you in the next video.